I haven't spoken English for over a year, but I'll try to make myself understood. Well, first of all, hi Amr. How are you?
I think it's hard period of time, let's say, with COVID going on, with renewal getting, with the intention started getting renewed every few weeks. It feels like everything is stuck. But,
We know that you were born in Egypt, but you studied in London and now you live in Berlin. And you are working as a software engineer. Is that right?
yeah, I didn't study in London. I studied in Egypt, but I lived in Budapest and in Berlin. Yeah, but I
Ah,
studied in
okay.
Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. First of all, how do you know Patrick Zaki?
I met Patrick in the university. We studied in the same university, not the same faculty, right? Patrick, I don't know, not many people knows this information, but Patrick is originally a pharmacist. So he studied pharmacy in the same university where I studied engineering, which is the German university in Cairo. That's the name of the university. We were not really friends because he was 1 year younger until the revolution started, right? And that was in 2011, and that's when the people who are interested in politics in the university decided to become friends, right? So everyone who was into this revolution said, like, okay, it's time to gather in the university as well. I remember we were even doing this move where whenever we meet someone in Tahrir Square from the same university, we just say like, here's the number. If you meet someone else from the university, collect their number and like, making a mailing list. And that's where I met Patrick. I met Patrick, I think the first time after Tahrir Square, right? Like 1 week after it, where we started this group, which back then was just aiming to work on political awareness in the university, right? Like, so focusing on spreading political basic information to students and focusing on student rights and student activism. And then later we became members of the same student union. Um, so that's how we met.
Another question. In July 2015, you fled your country because you felt your safety in danger. What had happened?
I think it's what has been happening to every Egyptian that's related to politics over the past maybe since 2013, since the military coup, right? The current regime is determined to punish everyone that took part of the revolution and make sure that it doesn't happen again, right? That's basically their agenda right now. So what's happening in Egypt right now, what happened to me, what happened to everyone else is simply they make sure to arrest you, not even arrest you, actually, it's kidnapping, right? Because it doesn't fall under a legal bubble, right? When I was, for example, arrested or kidnapped or whatever, I was just detained by police forces. But if you check the police logs, you will never find any traces of such thing. Um, so yeah, I was arrested multiple times. You get beaten, you get asked questions that you never even understand what are they trying to get out of it, right? So the goal is not really the answers of these questions. The goal is just to mentally break you so that you are scared to do something again. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Amr. How is living in Egypt today for people who expose themselves in the defense of the human rights?
So now I can speak only of listening, right? As was already mentioned by Elise, I haven't been to Egypt since 2015, but I can tell you because they're my friends and my family and everyone. And the situation in Egypt now, maybe to get it closer to a European audience, it looks like like the dictatorships you hear about in the movies, right? It looks like this. You're not allowed to speak. If you speak, you're arrested probably a couple of days later. And the point is, it does not stop at political opposition, right? Sometimes this can happen to random people off the streets. If you check the videos, like on the internet, there are a bunch of videos of the police just arresting random people of the internet. If you want to have a good example, just speaking in September 2019, when there was a wave of protests, they arrested 4,000 people in 1 week, right? And if you check, like there is a super cool photo from Google Maps where they blocked the entire streets of Cairo, like the whole streets of Cairo were closed for one day, and anyone who was just out there was getting arrested. And to add to this, they had like police checkpoints that were checking people mobile phones. They would open your mobile phone, check your Facebook account, and if they find anything against the regime, you just go immediately to jail. To add to this, even if you didn't have a Facebook account, they probably would arrest you because they would assume that you deleted your Facebook account not to get checked, right? So that was the level. That's the level we are talking about. We are talking about a regime that's taking it further than anything I've ever known, right? I've lived my whole life under dictatorships like Mubarak, right? Like Mubarak was not an angel, but he has never taken that far. We are speaking today. Today, for example, is Ramadan, right? For Muslim people, and usually for Egyptians, it's well known that Ramadan is the season for series, like TV series, right? Like, and they basically ban any private series, like all the series in the past few years are just produced by the government, speaking about the police achievements and the police championships and how the police is brave fighting against terrorism. Right, so that's the level we are talking about. We're talking about a regime that has passed even the same level of dictatorship, if that's a thing that you can even say, right? So yeah.
Thank you, Amr. What can we do in order to help countries such as Egypt, where people are denied their civil rights? What can we do?
I think I repeated this, and I think that is something that Patrick stands with, that everyone in our campaign stands with, right? We are not looking for saviors, right? Egyptian people are capable of fighting their own fights, but we are looking for people in Italy, in Germany, where I live, in the UK, to stop their own governments from being part of this, right? Because I'm not talking about just like helping us or saving us. This is not what we need. We do not need saviors. We need people to stop supporting this government. Because let's face it, the Italian government, the German government, the British government, the American government, all of them are supporting this regime doing trade on daily basis, right? And no one is talking about the actual disaster we are living in. I'm not asking anyone to fight the fight for me in Egypt. We as Egyptians are capable, more than capable, of fighting our fight in Egypt. But we need the foreign regimes to stop supporting such regimes, to stop giving them money that they are using, stop giving them the weapons that they are actually using to kill us, right? Like that's the very base we are asking for. And for the Italian people, like, thank you so much for the support that you're doing. But really, I'm asking you, focus on your government, focus on pushing your own government to change things. That's it.
Yeah, so to push the government for stop trading with the Egyptian government. Yeah. Another question. There are many people unjustly accused, like Patrick. In your opinion, how will the legal process of Patrick's case end?
There is no legal process of Patrick's case, right? And this is probably an important thing that people need to understand. There is no, like, such case will not exist anywhere outside the bubble of El-Sisi's regime, not even in Egypt, right? Patrick is not a political prisoner, because this is a sentence that has been used multiple times incorrectly. Patrick is what we call a political detainee. A detainee is someone who is just accused by some vague accusations and never went to court, right? Like, so there is no, Patrick was never tried anywhere. No one ever, there was no defense, there was nothing. There was just a pre-trial detention. That's what we call. This is a bubble that is based on the Egyptian law that says that if someone is accused of something, you can keep them in prison for a while until the trial happens. But how El-Sisi's regime was using this law is by basically arresting people, giving them the same template. We call them the template accusations. They are the same five exact accusations, like belonging to a terrorist organization, spreading false rumors, using Facebook to incite violence. Right? Like, come on, like, who would use Facebook? How would you do violence using Facebook, and so on? So if in anywhere in the world, this case will just mean nothing, because these laws doesn't exist, and no one will be able to tell you that you can arrest someone without the court saying that they can be arrested. That's just not basic human rights. But when I'm talking here about, I'm not talking about Patrick, right? I'm talking about literally, at least according to Human Rights Watch, there are more than 70,000 cases of the same, right? We are talking about, we even have terminology in Egyptian that I can't even translate that we know, right? Like we know that sometimes they finish the one case, like one accusation, you know, so they go to court, the court declares them innocent, and then they create new accusations and start the cycle from the beginning. That's what we are talking about. And even the political prisoners in Egypt, like, because there are some that already got the court sentencing, they would sentence 500 people for inciting violence one day and give them 25 years. Or they would sentence, that's also a real case, they sentence to death 515 people in a murder of one police officer, the same person, right? So,
Amr, you said last year to ANSA, which is the Italian agency of Associated Press, and I quote you, "In the past 9 years, I have learned my lesson at my own expense. Nothing is more important than involving people. People are the real power. I will pay a price for making my voice heard for Patrick, I know, but it's time that people know the price we pay. My biggest fear is that this price that we Egyptians pay for our security is for nothing. And this will only happen if people begin to ignore our stories." In this regard, Amr, what are your main goals for the future? I mean, what are you going to do in order to ensure that these stories will not be ignored or forgotten?
I can tell you two things here. They win by making people think that we are the others, right? We are those other people. They win by making us seem like statistics. When you hear things like, in Egypt, there are 60,000 people in jail, then you stop thinking about people like you, right? And probably over the last year, the campaign was focusing so much on making sure that you realize that we are human beings, right? We are people with faces. Patrick is just another human being. Probably if you were in Bologna last year, you probably would have came across him drinking somewhere in a bar on a Friday, right? Like trying to talk to his girlfriend over the phone and having the same struggles that you have, but there is an extra layer of struggles, right? That you don't know about. And the main goal is, at least if people can't do anything to change what we are facing, right? At least they know that we are humans and we are not the others, right? Because once we break this others concept, once we stop thinking about those poor people having the problems in the Middle East, or those poor people in Africa are having the problems, and we just start to think of ourselves all as one human, I see this struggle moving forward. And how do I do this? Or how do we as a campaign in general do this working on Patrick? We have just one slogan, right? We don't have hope because we know we cannot change things that fast. But we also don't have despair, right? We do not give up. We just continuously put in the work. Every possible chance to come out and talk to one person, to 1 million people, we take it, right? Even that's exhausting. And trust me, like it's a lot of work to just have to answer to people, repeat the same sentences, talk about your own traumas, because it's not really the easiest thing ever to talk about your own traumas on daily basis. Also endanger your friends again, endanger your family, because that's a criminal regime. There is no red line for them, right? They can do anything. We have heard of cases of them arresting families of people abroad and so on. So yeah, like that's basically it. Like we will keep working, we will keep talking until they realize maybe that you arrest one Patrick, you get 100 Patricks instead. So every time you try to kill the idea, it replicates and becomes bigger. Maybe then they will change their mind. Who knows?
Thank you, Amr. We are with you because the others don't exist. So thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you so much for your statement.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you also by my side. I think this interview will help your aim, because in my opinion, I realize that maybe in Italy we are too much focused on one person, that is Patrick. And it's a positive thing because it helped us to arrive at this point and speaking about the other 5,999 but it could be a limit. So we would like to use this interview and the meeting we will do at the end of April in the town hall on the website, so visible to many people, in order to give them what we get in this interview. Did you understand me?
Thank you. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and as you said, you know, we all talk. Patrick himself talks about the other people, right? And other people also talk about Patrick. But at least what we learned over the past years, in order to avoid talking about statistics, is to give everyone names, right? Because these are people. So when we talk about Patrick Zaki, probably if you went to Italian people and told them 60,000 or whatever, they will not care. But if you tell them, you know, one name, one face that they can tell, that's probably usually works better with people. So, but yeah, thank you so much for the effort you're putting into this, and I'm really sorry for not being so responsive online, because I also have to. Yeah.
Don't worry. I think I have to work, and as you told, maybe you have many interviews like this to work on your life. We all hope Patrick Zaki free as soon as possible, but at the same time, I fear that Italy will forget everything after, being honest, will forget everything after just a week, maybe. And we will work to avoid this.
Yeah. And hopefully when Patrick is out and back to Italy, we can come and visit.
Okay. We are here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we will welcome you.
Yeah.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amr. Bye. Bye.